Welcome to the Create What You Speak podcast. Join me as we have a real-life discussion on how to change your life by changing your thoughts. Remember, question everything, trust yourself, and find your truth. Welcome to the Create What You Speak podcast. My name is Sloan Fremont, and I'm your host. And here we are at the time of recording this episode at the end of another year. And it's been almost 6 years since I've had this podcast. That's a long time. If you've done any podcasting at all, you know, podcasting is a lot of work. Podcasting is also a very solo venture. There's a lot of things that you do on your own. And I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today as we wind down this year and kind of give you an update on where things are going for me and for the show. So this has been a crazy year. I feel like we say that every year and it seems like so cliche, but right now it really feels like this year was a crazy year. Like, I lost my dad this year. I also got married this year. Two like major things happening, for me and in my life. And so I've decided that I'm going to take a little break from the podcast for a while. There's just a lot going on. We're getting ready to move. A lot of life changes just with getting married, with living together, which is all very new to me. This is not something I've experienced before. So I want to be able to have some time to settle into that. I want to be able to focus on our move and get settled in a new place. We're going to stay in Tennessee, just not sure exactly where. So we're working through all of that. And so with that, with the closing out right now of the show, I wanted to leave you with a couple of thoughts as you start the next year, 2023. And these are things I'm thinking of in this moment. The interesting thing about podcasting also is that when you do it, like you have this conversation really with yourself, that feels like, oh yeah, that's all the things I wanted to say. And then like an hour later, I think, damn, I should have said that, or I could have added that there. Right. So there's always thoughts swirling around, which is also one of the reasons why it's fun, because you get to say what you think and you get to get your thoughts out there. And for me over the years, it's been almost like, journaling, right? It's been a way to help me process things and manage things and even understand things, because I had to talk through them in my mind, to be able to talk about it on the show. So this is where I am right now. And I only say that because nothing that I'm telling you right now is going to be like, oh, she's giving us like the secret to life in the last episode or something like that. No, I don't think any of us have that. And I think the secret to life changes. I think it changes almost every day. It changes with who we are. It changes with what we're dealing with. It changes with how we're feeling. And the secret that may be for you today may not be the secret that's right for you tomorrow. So I wanted to share just some things that I hope can help you settle in as we move into the next year, and maybe take some pressure off of yourself to get it right, or have to have it right, or have to have it figured out. Because I don't think that's like, for me personally, I feel tired of living that way. So hopefully what I'm going to share with you today will help you, as you move forward in the next year. So again, these are just 3 things I was thinking about as I wrap up the year. And the first one is take what works for you and leave the rest. And this is something I used to say on the show all the time. I used to say this pretty much every episode. I think for a couple of years I said this. And what I meant by that, by take what works for you and leave the rest, is when I'm talking, or if I'm sharing a story or sharing something that I've experienced in my life, nobody else is going to have that exact same experience. So what I'm suggesting worked for me, or what I'm suggesting that you might do as the listener, as a way to, if you're in that situation, to help you out, it's never 100% going to work for everybody else. So you're going to find pieces of that are going to work for you. And what if you do that over time with all the things that you learn, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the conversations you have, if you start taking those pieces that resonate with you, and you're going to know what that resonance is, because it's going to feel right in your body. Like you're going to feel a settling or like a relaxing into the thought or the idea. And so the concept of taking what works for you and leave the rest is really that. Like, take the pieces that work for you, but leave the rest behind. Like, don't disregard all the information, because all the information doesn't work for you, right? Find the pieces that do work for you and take that and add that to your system for yourself, whatever that might be. And then keep exploring. And before long, you'll piece together your way, your path, your secret to what works for your life. And the reason why I think this piece right here is so important right now is because it's so easy right now to fall into the trap of, well, everything is a psyop. Everything is a scam. Everything is, a lie, which I struggle with this with myself. And I know it feels like everything is, but if we stop looking at the everything, like the out there, and start looking within ourselves, we'll start to find those pieces of truth for our own selves. And that's really what this is. I think what, at least for me, what I'm finding is it's about is like finding those pieces of truth for you that work for you, because we're not all these robotic automaton, individuals who are just all going to do the same thing. And I think that's been the trap that people, and myself included, have fallen in for so long, is that everything is the same. Everything has to be 100% like this person did it. Otherwise, I'm a failure. It doesn't work. It's whatever the story might be. So take what works for you and leave the rest. The next one is trusting yourself and be true to you. And that kind of goes back, the be true to you kind of goes back to what I just said about taking what works and leaving the rest. Because I think for so long, we've all done these things that didn't work for us, but we thought that we were going to get the end result of whatever that was. So maybe it was the diet, right? I have to eat some weird ass shit, 3 times a day that I absolutely despise, or I have to do some workout, so many hours a week and I hate the workout, whatever it is. Like, we're not being true to ourselves when we're doing things that we hate. So I think we have to be able to find those pieces in things that are true to us and that work for us, and then trust ourselves enough to know that, hey, that is right for me, right? I can trust that that's right for me because I know within myself that I have this resonance, or I know within myself that this feels right for me. And when I'm trusting myself and when I'm doing the things that resonate and that work for me, then that's when I'm being true to myself. I'm not living this fake life anymore where I'm trying to do what some celebrity says, or do what some politician says, or do what anybody outside of myself says, right? Doing the things outside of what we want, like, in putting all these other people on a pedestal, it just doesn't work. It never worked, but it's like, it seems so obvious now. Like, why did I ever do that? I remember I did a show a while back. It was called The Era of the Guru Is Over. Like looking up to these other people as if they know more about me than I do. Like, how could they do that? They don't know more than me. I'm the only one that's lived me, right? I'm the only one that's lived my life. And so I'm the one that knows best, and I get to make that call for me. So trusting yourself and being true to yourself, I think, is one of the most important things we can do in our lives. And then the last one, I couldn't end the show without reminding you of this. And that is, your thoughts matter, and you can change your life by changing your thoughts. And I've done it. I've done it again and again and again. You can go back and listen. There's nearly 6 years of episodes of me talking about this. Changing your thoughts matter. Changing your thoughts are worth it. And changing your thoughts will change your life. And that can be in either direction, right? If you're tired of thinking negatively and you want to move your life in a more positive direction, the thoughts are one of the first place to start. And this topic is so big and there's so much to it. So I'm not going to go into every single detail about this. I highly encourage you to go back and listen to previous episodes where I talk about this. But the whole thing of thinking that we are our thoughts, or that our thoughts just happen and we can't control them, is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. It's this thing we do where we separate ourselves and we say, we're the only one that has this problem, or we're the only one that feels this way. And as a result, there's something wrong with me. So I'm going to, all these negative thoughts are coming in, and I guess that's just the way it is. All of this stuff that we tell ourselves. But I'm here to tell you, I have lived a different experience. I have lived a different experience with fighting with myself internally about what I'm thinking, arguing with myself that I don't believe that, or that isn't true for me, where these negative thoughts just didn't want to let go. But I came to the other side of that and I changed my life. And that's the whole reason why I did this podcast, to show other people that they can do it too. There's nothing different about me than you, other than I just did it. That's all. I just did it and I didn't give up. So if there's one thing I would leave you with, of all the things I've talked about in all the years, is this understanding that your thoughts matter and you can change your life by changing your thoughts. And I will say it is worth it. It is 100% without a doubt worth it. If you can start to master that in a way that works for you. Again, I go back to the things I said here. in this episode about taking what works and leaving the rest, about trusting yourself and being true to yourself, but then being able to find ways that you can change your thoughts into a more positive direction to start leading the life that you want to live, to start getting yourself into that place. And no one's going to be, definitely not happy 100% of the time, but the goal is to be happier. At least for me, was always to be happier and thinking more in that positive direction more of the time than I was in the other, thinking the negative. So, something like a 60-40 split of 60 being positive, 40% of the time, maybe not as positive because you're living life and you're a human and it's not always easy. You'll start to see major changes in your life. It's worth it. I'll just leave you with that. It's totally worth it. So I want to thank all of you for listening to me over these years. It's been an amazing experience to talk about the things that we've talked about, talk to the guests that I've talked to, talk to all of you with your feedback and your thoughts. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for that opportunity. And I'm not really sure what's next. I've got a lot of other ideas, but who knows where I'll end up. So I will still be filling in part-time on the Books on Air podcast on webtalkradio.net. So if you're interested in still hearing me and want to listen to some of the authors I talk to, you can check out Books on Air, and that's on webtalkradio.net. It's also streamed to all the platforms, all the podcasting platforms. So I'll be over there from time to time filling in. And again, I want to thank you for listening. I want to wish you all the best in 2023, and thank you for being there for me over the years.